is Pat at Maendeleolab. I want to switch things up a little bit. One of the main reasons I started YouTube was to really come out and try to really expose my skills. I had started a new business. I wanted to expose my skills. Just another way to make it very easy, right? When you want to work with some people, it's much easier to show them what you're about than having to fill out a bunch of words on the resume. So for me, YouTube is a way to really show what I can do. And if somebody is out there looking for someone who's thinking automation strategy, someone who understands the network infrastructure, how to route, how to route things. At the end of the day, everything runs on the network. So from a networking point of view, bringing the security mindset, knowing how to route things, how to keep things segmented from a networking perspective, it's a big deal. So if you start at the network layer, you have a much stronger security posture. So I like to mentor. I like to, I have some people I'm working with, from different diverse situations. Someone trying to get into IT, someone who just got into IT, trying to grow understanding the skill needed to remain relevant and needed, that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, I also get to learn from those that I'm helping, because it takes character to really want to improve things or to learn something new. So all of that. So I enjoy doing that as well. And this is where I think I want to teach, drop some, some ideas and go from there. So I hope you're going to stay put. I'm going to switch things up. I'm still building my automation infrastructure using Python and automating AWS CLI. I'm gonna still keep doing that, but now I'm gonna switch things up to where I can share some of my, some ideas relating to design or just anything. All right, so let's get into it. So if you remember this design, remember just a year ago, this was the introduction. This is a central infrastructure. The reason we say central is because of it has one exit point to go out to the internet, right? Each VPC has the capability of directly exiting through the internet by having an internet gateway, or you can use NAT gateways as well. So in this design, our goal was, there's only going to be one exit point, and all other VPCs will have to use this egress point to go out to the internet. This is by design. So this is why we call it central. And if you go back, you will see, you'll hear about, you can hear it again or watch it again. But that was then. So a year later, so now, and one more thing, let me not go too fast. The other aspect of central was a firewall right here. We using AWS network firewall. And what we're doing basically in this design also, we're making sure that all traffic between VPCs are filtered, right? We want to inspect that traffic. We want to make sure we segmenting networking, because some VPCs may not need to speak to other VPCs. So here in this central VPC, security VPC, this is where we filter the traffic. We get to say, yes, you can, or you cannot. And it's a central inspection VPC. All right, so back to now, same design, we got better. We know how we can use it from a central point of view. Now we've added a VPN attachment, okay? So with this type of design, you can use it in a situation, I'm going to keep it simple. Let's say, for example, in many cases, sometimes company do merge, or you have a client and you have IP spaces overlapping, right? Meaning that in this environment, they could be using a CIDR range that's equal to the one you're using here. And this is going to cause overlapping. So to avoid that, two networks must agree to a specific network range that they don't use. So that would be like a wildcard network. Both sides will agree that, hey, look, we are not going to use this to route any traffic, but just traffic coming from AWS, for example. So this means on-prem, that specific network range will be labeled AWS, for example. Do not use on-prem, something like that. So this is one reason why you can use this, is to overcome things like that. And how do we do this? We place NAT gateways, right? Private NAT gateways. And we point traffic to those private NAT gateways, which point back to the VPN attachment to NAT traffic towards the remote site VPN. Okay. Another thing that's pretty cool is in AWS, in the VPCs, you can assign any IP address, right? You can assign a public address just as you can assign private addresses. Best practice, you want to assign private addresses, of course, but there are cases where your client may not want, they only want public IP. And the beauty is we can get away with that here. We can assign a public IP space to a VPC. You will need to create a VPC with a public IP space, create NAT gateways, and point to those NAT gateways to send traffic to the VPN. And that traffic will be a public address. So if you are using 2 AZs, you would have a total of 2 public IP addresses coming this way. And the reason is, again, VPC IP space is not advertised to the internet. This is why you can assign a public IP space to any VPC and it should be okay. So that's pretty much what this design is about. I want to stop here because I just don't want it to be overwhelming. Hey, if you have any questions or something you still want more explanation on, hey, drop a comment. We here. I'm willing to share. And for anyone out there who may find this useful in your infrastructure, hey, please reach out. Be happy to work with you as well. I am Pat from Maendeleolab. Until next time, salut.